very happy with that. I'm here representing the family, and the first thing I want to do is to thank each and every one of you. Thank you for being Ray's friends. Thank you for appreciating him. Thank you for finding this service to remember him, and thank you for coming out tonight. His family has long known that Ray was a very special person. We knew that he was busy in his community, but we had no idea how the community felt about him. Now we know. Thank you. As a sister and I have been going over his papers last few weeks and discussing with many of you, we've gained a new appreciation of who he was, what he meant, and what he has done. I believe this is the first time his professional life, his church friends, his community colleagues, and his family come together at one time. As you know, Ray was a very different person. Ray had unusual gifts. As a child, he learned his letters and learned to read at a very early age. He studied maps, and he could tell you how to get to anywhere in Cedar Rapids. He was just a kid, and he had never been to most of those places. Ray had a fabulous memory. One of our favorite activities when the family got together was to play Trivial Pursuit. The teams were always the same, Ray versus everyone else. The result was always the same. Ray won. Usually without any serious contest. Ray was the older brother. He was the older brother that thought it was important to teach his 7-year-old sister the alphabet. The Greek alphabet, that is. Ray was that guy with the strong bass voice and singing choirs. You've heard about that. But he also had a singing comedy act in college, where he sang miserably and out of key. He cut a record and started a record label with that one record at one point. He even sang at a college fundraiser. Admission was free, but you had to pay to leave. The longer you stayed, the less you paid. Ray was a guy who studied politics from both sides. He was a Democrat who did not vote for Democratic presidential candidates. We found on his computer the bookmarks for the Huffington Post and the Drudge Report. Ray was an encyclopedia of knowledge, and he loved to share it. I remember one long car trip with him. I simply brought up a topic and sat back and enjoyed the lecture. It was like traveling with an interactive version of the History Channel. Ray was a student of modern history with a special affinity for dates. If you asked him what happened on any given day of his life, he could tell you what was going on in the world as well as what he and his family were doing. We quizzed him many times. Once he even wrote in an email that on the day he was born, Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier for the first time. But he added, to be totally honest, he probably did not remember the losing house at the time. Because the flight would have been classified. Ray was a guy with very different priorities. He cared little about himself, but a lot for others. For instance, he did not even have a file folder to keep his financial records. But he had well-organized paper and electronic files of all his community projects and his correspondence with family and friends. Ray was a guy who worked hard for his community. The achievement that he spoke about most to us was the dog park. Ray did not own a dog. Ray did not even like dogs. But he did love his community and appreciated the chance to serve it. Ray was a person with serious physical limitations, but he did not let them stop him nor ask for pity. He suffered from a condition called ankylosing spondylitis, which causes back to fuse together, and also gave him various other problems such as eye inflammations. I'm sure you all knew there is some sort of a problem, but I doubt that many of you knew much about the condition. He did not care much to discuss these things. I know last summer I asked him if he had a handicap sticker for his car. He said, no. Then he went on. He said he probably qualified, but he thought those things should go to people worse off than he. Ray's life was not easy. He had significant obstacles to overcome, especially in social interactions. His physical condition left him with appearance and hygiene issues. And the condition that gave him those tremendous mental gifts brought with it physical and social awkwardness. These issues put some people off, so he had to find ways to cope. Ray learned to focus his activities on what he could actually accomplish, to set achievable goals, to hold fast to principles, to live simply, to never be a burden, to find areas where he could be useful, and to work very hard and very unselfishly to help others. One thing that came through clearly as we put together his documents and compared emails was his deep commitment to God, whereas in other areas, the focus was on relationships. In one email, he made the point to my daughter that we are always too concerned about God's love for us without thinking about the response, our love for God. We point out that as children, we heard the song, Jesus loves me, this I know. But we seldom get to the next verse, which he then wrote down, so I will repeat. I love Jesus, does he know? Have I ever told him so? Jesus loves to hear me say that I love him every day. Now that the busyness of Ray's life is past, we're going to talk about with greater clarity. We can see the things he did for others. We can see how we responded. We can see past some things which might have bothered us. And we can say, I love Ray, but did he know? Did I ever tell him so? He would have loved to hear me say I loved him in any way. Ray's death took us all by surprise. When he visited last summer, it was obvious that he was going downhill physically. But we all thought the end was a long way off. We did not know you, who you were, how to contact you, nor even if you appreciated him. We did not know how to arrange a service in St. Paul, nor even if anyone would attempt. I cannot tell you how much it means to the family, and I'm sure to Ray, to see you here today say that you love Ray in some special way. Thank you.